In 1975, in the aftermath of the Watergate scandal, Senator Frank Church spearheaded an initiative to hold US intelligence agencies accountable. This led to the formation of what would become the US Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, commonly referred to as the Church Committee. The committee's primary mission was to investigate allegations of misconduct by the CIA and FBI and ensure these agencies were operating within the bounds of the law. So in this video, I'll discuss CIA assassination, attempts, the dark side of US intelligence. But before starting the video, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe to never miss out on any of our videos. What the committee uncovered was far more shocking than anyone had anticipated. They revealed that the CIA had effectively been running an assassination program targeting political leaders, revolutionaries, and influential figures worldwide. This revelation would cast a dark shadow over the agency's reputation and raise questions about the ethical boundaries of US foreign policy. The CIA's hit list was expansive, targeting leaders from across the globe. Among the most notable victims were Mohammad Mossadegh in Iran, Salvador Allende in Chile, and attempted plots against Fidel Castro in Cuba. The CIA's reach extended across continents, from Central and South America to Africa, the Middle East and Eastern Asia. These operations often involve methods designed to make assassinations appear accidental or natural. Targets were silenced through car crashes, staged suicides, induced cancers and heart attacks. The agency even developed a notorious device known as the heart attack gun, which could deliver a lethal dose of poison that mimicked the symptoms of a natural heart attack. In 1953, the CIA orchestrated a coup against Iranian Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh. Mossadegh's crime, in the eyes of the US, was nationalizing Iran's oil industry, which threatened Western economic interests. The CIA's involvement in his removal was one of the earliest examples of their willingness to destabilize governments to protect US geopolitical interests. Mossadegh's forced ouster set a precedent for future interventions. Salvador Allende, the democratically elected president of Chile, became another victim of the CIA's covert operations. His socialist policies and alignment with Marxist ideologies were viewed as a threat during the Cold War. In 1973, the CIA backed a military coup led by General Augusto Pinochet, resulting in Allende's death and years of brutal dictatorship in Chile. Few leaders have faced as many assassination attempts as Fidel Castro. The CIA's relentless efforts to eliminate the Cuban leader included exploding cigars, poisoned pens, and even hiring mafia hitmen. Castro famously mocked these attempts, claiming to have survived over 600 plots against his life. The sheer absurdity of these schemes often overshadowed their sinister intent. One of the most chilling revelations from the Church Committee was the existence of the heart attack gun. This weapon fired a small toxin-coated dart that caused a fatal heart attack, leaving almost no trace of foul play. Alongside this device, the CIA developed a range of unconventional tools for assassination, including poisons and exploding devices. During the 1954 coup in Guatemala, the CIA developed a study of assassination manual. This document provided guidelines on carrying out assassinations, detailing methods to make deaths appear accidental, and discussing the selection of targets. The manual underscores the agency's systematic approach to political killings during that era. Following the failed Bay of Pigs invasion, the Kennedy administration initiated Operation Mongoose, a covert program aimed at destabilizing Fidel Castro's regime in Cuba. This operation included plans for sabotage, propaganda, and assassination attempts against Castro. reflecting the lengths to which the US government was willing to go to remove foreign leaders deemed adversarial. The Church Committee revealed that the CIA had plotted to assassinate Patrice Lumumba, the first Prime Minister of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Fearing his potential alignment with the Soviet Union during the Cold War, the agency considered various methods, including poisoning. Although Lumumba was eventually killed by Congolese rivals, the CIA's involvement in plots against him highlights its interference in African political affairs. In efforts to assassinate Fidel Castro, the CIA collaborated with American mafia figures, believing they had the means and access to execute the mission. Notably, figures like Sam Giancana and John Roselli were approached to facilitate Castro's assassination, exemplifying the agency's willingness to partner with criminal elements to achieve its objectives. The CIA was implicated in plots to assassinate Rafael Trujillo, the dictator of the Dominican Republic. While the agency provided support to dissidents, including supplying weapons, the extent of its direct involvement remains a subject of historical debate. Trujillo was eventually assassinated in 1961, an event that the US viewed as beneficial to its interest in the region. In 1976, President Gerald Ford took a landmark step to address the controversies surrounding US intelligence agencies. Following the explosive revelations of the Church Committee about covert CIA operations and political assassinations, Ford issued Executive Order 11905. This directive was intended to impose oversight and establish ethical boundaries for intelligence activities, with one of its most notable provisions being the explicit prohibition of political assassinations by US government employees. The prohibition on political assassinations marked a shift in US policy, signalling an effort to align covert operations with international law and ethical norms. However, critics argue that the order left room for interpretation, with terms like political assassination remaining loosely defined. This ambiguity has allowed subsequent administrations to engage in targeted killings, often reframed as acts of self-defense or counter-terrorism. Despite the declassification of numerous CIA documents, public skepticism persists regarding the agency's involvement in assassination plots. These revelations are often dismissed as conspiracy theories, even though they are part of the congressional record. This disconnect between documented evidence and public belief highlights the CIA's ability to operate in secrecy and control narratives. Conspiracy theories continue to thrive, partly due to the agency's secretive nature and the often limited transparency surrounding its operations. The debate over the morality and legality of such action remains a contentious issue in discussions about US foreign policy. The CIA's involvement in political assassinations raises challenging ethical and moral questions. At its core is the debate over whether eliminating individuals deemed a threat to national security can ever be justified. On one side, proponents argue that such actions serve as a necessary evil, protecting millions from harm, averting wars, or maintaining geopolitical stability. On the other, critics highlight the profound consequences these operations have on international law, sovereignty, and human rights. Targeted assassinations often destabilize regions, breed resentment, and damage America's global reputation. They violate the principle of sovereignty, undermining the very international frameworks the United States claims to uphold. These actions can also provoke retaliatory violence, fueling cycles of conflict rather than resolving them. The Church Committee's work marked a significant turning point in holding the CIA and other intelligence agencies accountable for their actions. By exposing a history of covert operations, abuses of power, and unauthorized activities, the committee brought much-needed scrutiny to US intelligence practices. Its findings led to key reforms, such as the establishment of permanent oversight committees in Congress and the creation of guidelines to limit the scope of intelligence operations. Despite these efforts, critics contend that the reforms fell short of ensuring full accountability. They argue that the CIA has continued to operate with a level of secrecy that allows it to circumvent legal and ethical constraints. The committee's revelations remain a powerful reminder of the importance of transparency and oversight in safeguarding democratic principles and preventing the abuse of power by intelligence agencies. The CIA's history of political assassinations is a dark chapter in US intelligence history. From orchestrating coups to developing covert weapons, the agency's actions have had far-reaching consequences for global politics. While the Church Committee shed light on these operations, the full extent of the CIA's activities remains shrouded in secrecy. As we reflect on this history, it's crucial to question the ethical boundaries of intelligence work and demand accountability from those who wield such power. Thanks a million for watching. If you want more videos like this, make sure to like the video and hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.